Hello and welcome to the Minnesota Youth Reading Awards 2025-2026 Winner, Honoree, and Announcement event. I'm Matt Schneider, the board president here at MYRA. We're so glad you're watching along with us and rooting for your favorite books. So many people make this event happen. Our board members who work to organize events like this one and our fall event where we honor our winners in person here in Minnesota. Our volunteer readers who curate great lists of nominees each year. Teachers and librarians around the state who help connect kids to great books, and of course the kids who jump in and read these amazing nominees before they vote for their favorites each spring. Thank you so much for sharing your love of books, for building a community of readers, for celebrating these great authors and illustrators. We're so grateful, so proud, and so excited to get started announcing our winners today. Stay tuned for some mystery guests who will join us virtually with messages of their own. I'm going to hand it off now to our other board members in charge of both the Maud Hart Loveless and the Star of the North Awards. Take it away. Happy reading.
Hello, Minnesota readers. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Laura Given, and I am the Star of the North Selection Chair. Young readers all across Minnesota read and voted for their favorite Star of the North nominees this year. We tallied up the votes, and I have the exciting job of announcing this year's winner and honor books. Our first Star of the North honor book is Millie Fleur's Poison Garden, written and illustrated by Christy Mandan. Our second Star of the North honor book is Ursula Upside Down, written and illustrated by Corey R. Tabor. And the winner of the 2026 Star of the North Award is The Book That Almost Rhymed, written by Omar Abed and illustrated by Hatem Ali. Congratulations to our new Star of the North Award winner and honor books. Please mark your calendar for November 14th at 2 p.m. and join us this fall at the Ramsey County Library in Roseville, Minnesota to celebrate our new winner and honor books at our MYRA Award presentation. And now, it is time to announce our new Star of the North Award nominees for the coming year. Congratulations to all of the new Star of the North Award nominees. We have a tradition here with our MYRA announcement event. We invite Minnesota creators of our newly announced nominees to join us here as special mystery guests. I'm thrilled to have so many Minnesota connections among our nominees this year, and even more excited that Minnesota creators were able to join us today. Please enjoy meeting our Star of the North mystery guests.
Sionagana Art Colson Dagodoma. Hello everyone, my name is Art Colson. I'm the author of All the Stars in the Sky. I'd like to thank the Star of the North Selection Committee for choosing our book as one of the nominees in the picture book category for the Minnesota Youth Reading Awards. This is a great honor, and on behalf of the entire team of people who made this book possible, I'd like to express our gratitude to you and to all the young readers across the state of Minnesota. This award means the world to all of us. All the Stars in the Sky was a book almost 4 years in the making. From my earliest discussions with my agent Jackie Lipton and editor Celia Lee at Simon & Schuster to the close collaboration with extraordinary illustrator Winona Nelson, I knew our project was in great hands. I want to thank Jackie, Celia, and Winona, as well as all the people who worked on the project behind the scenes at Raven Quill Literary and Simon & Schuster. The central message of All the Stars in the Sky, that no one person is more important than his family and his community, and that we're all stronger when our community works together for the common good, can be summed up in one word in our Cherokee language. We say, Gadoogie. This lesson, while always important to remember, as my grandmother told me, I believe is especially vital today. As young Clay says in our book, after all, our world would be a whole lot darker with only one star in the sky. These are words to remember. So thank you for recognizing all the stars in the sky and for all the work that you do to promote reading among young people and across our state. Wadon, thank you.
Hello, my name is David La Rochelle,
And my name is Mike Gwinitka.
and both of us are very excited that our book, Go and Get with Rex, was chosen as one of the nominees for next year's Star of the North Award. As you can see, I'm in the mood. I've got my Rex ears on, as well as I read Past My Bedtime shirt. So I'm all set to go.
Yeah. Since both David and I are from Minnesota, we are especially excited that students across the state will be reading our book.
Yeah, it is exciting.
Yeah. So, David, why don't you go ahead and tell them what inspired you to write this book?
Well, lots of times, Mike, I have no idea where I get an idea for a book, but I do know exactly where I got the idea for this particular book. And I actually know the exact date. It was May 8th, 2020. And I know that date because Mike and I are part of a game night group. We meet together and we play games, but when the pandemic hit, we couldn't meet in person anymore. Now, when we get together to play games, we invent the games. We don't just play games like Monopoly or Scrabble. People take turns coming up with the games. So I had to come up with a game that we could play over Zoom since we weren't meeting in person. And the game that I came up with was a scavenger hunt. I gave people a list of letters, and everyone had to come to our Zoom meeting with something that started with each of the different letters. And I thought it was really interesting to see what different people came up with for the same letter of the alphabet. And after that meeting, I remember thinking, boy, that's kind of a fun game. I wonder if you could turn that into a book. And that's what I tried to do, a book about a scavenger hunt. I put together a little mini book there, Go and Get with Rex. And I had it ready a month later, and I wanted to show it to Mike, except it was still a pandemic and we were not meeting in person anymore. So what I did is I drove over to Mike's house and he came outside and I gave him a copy of this book. And then I left. I walked around the block because I did not want to just stand there staring at Mike while he was reading it. But it was a very long walk for me, Mike. I was very nervous about what you were going to think of this book. I got around your block. I came back. You had finished reading it, and you said,
Well, David, I was so excited. I couldn't wait for you to get back from your walk to tell you how much I enjoyed the book and how I thought it was a brilliant concept. And I was crossing my fingers that you would want me to be the illustrator for the book.
and I was very relieved that that was your response, Mike. So that was good news for me, good news for both of us, because we sent this dummy and to our editor at Candlewick, and she said yes, she loved the story. Yes, she wanted Mike to be the illustrator for the book.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Mike. You have said that Go and Get with Rex was one of the books, one of your most favorite books to illustrate. And why was that the case? You've illustrated a lot of great books.
Well, thanks, David. Well, there were a couple reasons I enjoyed illustrating this book so much. One was, all the things that go. Jack and Jill, to bring in all those different things that they go and get, they're driving all these different vehicles. And I, of course, was inspired by one of my favorite books growing up, Richard Scarry's Cars and Trucks and Things That Go. And the other reason I enjoyed illustrating the book so much were all the ducks, especially the duck musicians. And some of the duck musicians ended up being inspired by some of my favorite musicians. This is like the guitarist from AC/DC, Angus Young. And when he would play the guitar, he'd often do a duck walk, which I thought was perfect for the way I drew the duck playing the guitar. So
They look very
those are
similar,
a couple.
Mike.
Yes. Thanks, David. So those are a couple reasons I enjoyed illustrating Go and Get with Rex so much.
And if you take a look at the ducks that I drew for the dummy of my book, you can see why I was so happy that they had Mike be the illustrator for it. You did a great job. So thank you for doing that.
No, thanks, David. And thank you to the Star of the North Committee for choosing Go and Get with Rex as one of the nominees for the 26-27 award. We are very grateful.
Yeah, we are very, very grateful for that. And we're also excited and looking forward to the kids in Minnesota reading our book next year. So thank you, and
Bye, thank you.
Bujo Ginawa, Ninsa Bima Tumishtim Indugu, Gayanekus Shah, Jaganashimo and Dishnakaz. Megizin Dudame, Asabikone Zagaiganing Wenjabawa Dunaway Maganug. Hello everybody, my name is Nicholas Shaw. I am Eagle Clan and I am Boys Fort Ojibwe. First, I just want to say a huge Chimigwech thank you so much to the nomination committee for the Minnesota Youth Reading Awards, Star of the North for my book, Loaf the Cat Goes to the Powwow. I can't tell you how much this means. It's truly an honor even to be nominated. And incredible news. Chimigwech, thank you. I wanted to share a little bit about my book here. I created this book because I was a teacher for a long time, and when it came to Native American representation in books, first of all, there just wasn't a lot. And usually when there was, it was set a long time ago, 1800s or even earlier. And that just really bothered me because Native people are here. We're contemporary. We're living lives and practicing our culture and doing a lot of really cool things. So I wanted to create something for kids that could show that. But one thing I thought of a lot was that I wanted this to be something that both Native and non-Native kids could see themselves in. And I wanted it to be a celebration of one part of contemporary Native American cultures. So when thinking about that, I landed on, well, what's one of the best representations of modern Native cultures than powwows? So I knew it had to be a story about powwows. When thinking about ways to represent both Native and non-Native children in this story, I landed on the point of view character being a silly cat. In our story, this cat, Loaf, learns about powwow from her boy, Charlie Strongland. Charlie is Ojibwe, and he's going to be dancing for the first time at the powwow. So people can see themselves in the story a couple ways. If you don't know anything about powwows, it's a great way to learn a little bit about what they are and what they're all about. But if you do happen to dance at powwows, or your family does, hopefully this is a good way that you can also see yourself there in that story through the point of view of Charlie, who is going to be dancing in our story. I also wanted to include a couple nods and include my reservation of Boys Fort in there a little bit. And I did that through our character, Charlie, and his last name, Strongland. His last name is actually a combination of two last names. In Boys Fort, Net Lake specifically, there's a part of the village that was called Strongville, where the Strong family largely lived. And the Strongs have been a family that have really preserved a lot of traditional Ojibwe culture, language, and a lot of the things that make us who we are. A number of Strongs have been friends of mine, mentors, and I've learned a ton from that family, and they're people who I am eternally grateful for. And the other part of his name, Land, comes from my family, the Langrens. Langren originally is a Swedish name, but the Langrens are a family on Boys Fort that my family comes from. So it was a combination of those two names to create his name. There's also one other connection. If you read closely, you'll see that the host drum is called Little Horse. That was my drum back when I was a powwow drummer, long time ago. And I learned from my cousin, Terry Goodsky, who would take me around to powwows, teach me songs, and we just always would have a great time singing. And so I wanted to include just the joy of powwow and this celebration in the story, and I hope it came across. Again, though, thank you so much for this nomination. I just will never be able to express how much of an honor this is and how much it means to me. I hope, though, more than anything, that this is a book that teaches about Native culture, that Native kids can enjoy, and that all kids can enjoy. So thank you for nominating Loaf the Cat Goes to the Powwow. It's truly an honor. Miigwech.
Stay with us to hear about the winners and honor books for the Maud Hart Lovelace Award, along with the new Maud Hart Lovelace nominees for 2027 and more special mystery guests.
Hello, I'm Anna Zabatnik, chair of the selection committee for the Maud Hart Lovelace Reading Award. This year, thousands of Minnesota students in grades 3 through 8 cast their votes for the Maud Hart Lovelace Book Awards. Those votes have now been counted, and I'm honored to announce this year's honor books and the newest Maud Hart Lovelace Book Award winners. Our first honor book for Division 1 this year is The Lost Library by Rebecca Stead and Wendy Mass. Our second honor book for Division 1 is Just Keep Walking by Minnesota author Erin Soderberg Downing. And the winner of the 2026 Maud Hart Lovelace Division 1 Award is Hoops, written and illustrated by Matt Tavares. Our Division 2 first honor book this year is The Fort by Gordon Corman. And our second Division 2 honor book this year is Hoops, written and illustrated by Matt Tavares. And the winner of the 2026 Maud Hart Lovelace Division 2 Award is Louder Than Hunger by John Shue. Congratulations to all of our Maud Hart Lovelace honor books and winners. Mark your calendar for November 14th at 2 p.m. at the Roseville Public Library to celebrate our new winners and honor books at our MYRA Award presentation. And now, it is time to announce the new list of Maud Hart Lovelace books for the coming year. And now, I am excited to introduce this year's Maud Hart Lovelace mystery guests.
Hi, my name is Anne Ursu, and I am the author of Not Quite a Ghost. This book is about Violet, and Violet is going through a lot of changes. She's starting sixth grade, which means middle school, and also at the beginning of the book, her family decides to move into a big new house, and she gets stuck with the very creepy attic bedroom. Over the course of the school year, she falls sick and she doesn't get better, and the doctors can't figure out what's going on, which means that she has to spend a lot of time in that creepy attic bedroom where she begins to suspect that she is not alone, that the room might be haunted. So, this book is actually came out of my own experience with hard to diagnose illnesses. And it's something I'd wanted to write about for a long time. And after COVID happened and more kids started getting long COVID, it felt really important to find a way into that. But it was really hard to figure out how to make that work as a story until I started reading a lot of horror and I realized, oh, this is horror. This is a ghost story. This is about something happening to you out of the blue that you can't control. It is very loosely based on an old novella by Charlotte Perkins Gilman called The Yellow Wallpaper, which is about a woman who is given a rest cure and is basically stuck in her bedroom and begins to see someone moving around in the very gross yellow wallpaper. This book is set in Minneapolis. I live here. I was born here and raised here. And it wasn't common when I was a kid to find books that were set here, other than some of the Laura Ingalls Wilder books and, of course, the Betsy Tacy books, which I loved. So one of the things that's kind of important to me as a writer is to show kids who live here that their city and their state get to be settings for books as well. Violet talks about going to Feline Rescue. She mentions Hello Pizza. There are a lot of little landmarks that I hope kids might recognize. In terms of a behind the scenes story, I will say that there is a leg shaving incident in the book that is unfortunately very based in real life experience. Um, anyway, I grew up loving Maud Hart Lovelace and the Betsy Tacy books. I used to sleep with them under my pillow, hoping I would dream about being friends with Betsy Tacy and Tib. So this is such an honor for me. I'm absolutely thrilled, and thank you so much to the Maud Hart Lovelace Committee. This means the world to me. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Matt Eicheldinger, and I'm the author of Matt Sprouts and the Curse of 10 Broken Toes. First, thank you so much for selecting this book for the Maud Hart Lovelace Award. I'm pretty excited. And since I have your attention, there's probably some things you need to know. The book actually takes place in Colorado, where I grew up, but I live here, in Minnesota, pretty close to Mall of America. And I've been a middle school language arts teacher here for about 15 years. The other thing you need to know is that Matt Sprouts is based on my life. I am Matt Sprouts, and I've been drawing him since I was in 3rd grade. If something didn't go well at school, I would draw myself doing the thing I wish would have happened. In fact, most of this book is true, which means yes, I have broken all 10 of my toes. Don't worry, they don't look like chewed up macaroni and cheese. I broke all of them in some pretty strange ways, but I can't tell you any because that would spoil the book. I've written a lot of books in my short time as an author, but this book, this is the one that started the dream. I actually wrote it when I was 21 years old for my students, and they liked it so much I tried to get it published. For the next 15 years, I would show my students the rejection letters I got from New York City, and every time they'd ask the same thing, what are you going to do next? And I would tell them, I'm just going to write another letter. Because sometimes adults forget. They forget that kids are experts. They decide what is cool, what'll be trending. So when my students told me I should self-publish my book instead, I listened. I made the book myself. They even helped me choose the original cover. And 2 years after this little book entered the world, an agent from New York City picked it up, and it got acquired by Andrews McMeel Publishing, and then went on to be an instant New York Times bestseller 15 years after I wrote it. And now I get to live out a dream. In 2 years, I'll have written and illustrated 12 books, with more on the way. And I'm so happy that kids don't just get to hear about my story of persistence, but they get to hear from Matt Sprouts. He's impulsive, he's silly, he makes mistakes, but he leads with his heart, and you can't go wrong when you do that. Thank you again, committee, for selecting my book. It means more to me than you'll ever know.
Thank you for joining us for the Minnesota Youth Reading Awards announcement event. Here is the event secret code word. Use it to enter to win one of the newly announced nominees. Good luck and happy reading.